Welcome to the Fitness After 40 podcast. I'm your host, Josh Proch, and today we're going to talk to you about one of our tips from our 25 secrets for fitness after 40. If you want to get all 25 of these tips, just go to the show notes and we'll have a link down there where you can download them. And again, that's what we do here in the gym here at Pittsburgh North Fitness is we're focusing on the client after 40. And a lot of gyms, a lot of trainers, they don't really focus on that population. They're looking at the younger ones or athletes or things like that. And that's all we do here is work with people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I think our oldest is actually in her mid 80s right now. So the body's different as we get older, and the way we train it is needs to be a little bit different and to adapt that. It doesn't mean that we can't work hard. It doesn't mean that we have to do little pink dumbbells and chairs and any of that shit, but it's basically certain things we train a little bit differently than we did maybe in our 20s and things like that. So today's tip, what I'm going to talk to you about is training your abs and basically how and why abs are more than crunches. So years ago, I had a client who had lost about 20 pounds over a relatively short period of time, maybe I'm going to say 4 months, something like that, 3-4 months. And but then when we took his waist circumference, it had actually increased. And really what happened is he lost some weight, got himself down, and then his waist circumference actually increased a few months after that. And we're like, you've lost this weight, your body fat percentage is lean, things like that, or is significantly less than what it was before. So how did this waist circumference come up? So, at first it was kind of I'm kind of confused on this. He's eating well, at least according to his nutrition journal. He was doing what we were prescribing him to do. We knew what he was doing workout wise, losing weight, and he was in at least 5 days a week. He was getting cardio in, all that sort of stuff. But yet his belly and midsection was appearing to get fatter. So we just kind of talking with him a little bit and discussing what he's been doing and all that sort of stuff. And he just kind of said out of nowhere, he's like, what kind of is surprising about this? He's like, I've actually been working my abs extra hard and doing about 300 crunches each night before I go to bed. And that was kind of that changes things. And that was actually the problem. And the reason that was the problem is your abs are basically like any other muscle. The more you work them, the larger that they will get. And if they're covered with a layer of fat, no matter how much is there or not, they can make you look like you have a little bit of a gut. And in this case, it can make you see that stomach circumference increase. So even though he was losing body fat, he still had a little bit to go and things like that. And this really, adding this muscle on here pushed that out. Now, again, this is an extreme case. Not everybody's going to have this same thing happen from that, but it's something that when we look at our ab training, we want to look at and train them how they're designed to train. And most people do that wrong. They think of sit-ups and crunches, and they do a lot of that stuff. But really, your abs are designed to brace and support the spine. So while crunches and sit-ups increase the size of the muscle, exercises like our planks, wood chops, they're going to strengthen them and actually draw them in tighter. Those exercises start targeting the deeper layer of abdominal muscles, which is called our transverse. I'm drawing a blank there, but it's our transverse abdominis, and which acts as like a weight belt around your body. So it kind of connects from both sides of the spine. So they get these deeper muscles and they pull them in or help pull it a little bit tighter. Then on the sides, kind of over top of that, we have our obliques that are running at an angle. These help with our rotation and things like that. And then on the outside, we have our rectus abdominis, and those are like the six-pack abs and everything like that people think of. So crunches and sit-ups hit those outside muscles, but when we get into these planks and wood chops, they start hitting the obliques and that transverse abdominis and those deeper ones that help kind of draw things in a little bit. So when we're training them this way, we're not going to get that bulk on the abs. Plus, when we start coupling that with a healthy nutrition plan, you're going to have the recipe to have a flat stomach. The other thing with crunches that we don't like is especially with our over 40 clients, is they can start to trigger some low back issues. So like I said, even though the abs will make that crunching motion, that's not how they were designed to work. They were designed to stabilize and brace and support the spine and generate rotation, connecting the shoulder girdle with the pelvic girdle there. So when we do these crunches and sit-ups, we start putting very high shear stress on the low back and the lumbar joints in there. And there's been research on this that it can cause injuries. There's been stuff where they've looked at pig spines and they've put them like a cadaver pig spine on a little machine that flexes it back and forth, and to see when discs rupture. And they've shown that after so many repetitions, they start rupturing throughout the whole column. The number that they got up to isn't a number that anybody's going to do in one workout, but there's a cumulative effect to that, where as the more you do it, it starts just building up till eventually you actually create a low back issue by doing sit-ups and crunches. If there's already a history of that and something going on there, that can just kind of agitate it more and make that problem a little bit worse. So that's why we try to stay away from them a lot. It's not that we don't ever do them. I mean, maybe occasionally they'll be in a program, we'll put them in there and stuff like that. A little bit is fine. It's doing them all the time where you run into some problems. So again, just when you think about ab training, don't just think about crunches and sit-ups. Think about how they're designed and train them that way. I'll talk to you all next week. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and rate and review us.